Hi, it's Beth. Welcome to 2 Kings 22:11. When the king heard the words of the book of the law, he tore his clothes. Reading the Bible to you in a year. Today we are in Genesis chapter 7 to 9. Then the Lord said to Noah, "Go into the ark, you and all your household. For you alone in this generation have I found to be righteous before me. Of every clean animal, take with you 7 pairs, a male and its mate. And of the unclean animals, 1 pair, a male and its mate. Likewise, for every bird of the air, 7 pairs, a male and a female, to keep their progeny alive over all the earth. For 7 days from now, I will bring down rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. And so I will wipe out from the face of the earth every being that I have made." Noah complied, just as the Lord had commanded. Noah was 600 years old when the flood came upon the earth. Together with his sons, his wife, and his sons' wives, Noah went into the ark because of the waters of the flood. Of the clean animals and unclean, of the birds, and everything that crawls on the earth, 2 by 2, male and female, came to Noah into the ark, just as God had commanded him. When the 7 days were over, the waters of the flood came upon the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, on the 17th day of the month, on that day, all the fountains of the great abyss burst forth, and the floodgates of the sky were opened. For 40 days and 40 nights, heavy rain poured down on the earth. On the very same day, Noah and his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of Noah's sons, entered the ark, together with every kind of wild animal, every kind of tame animal, every kind of crawling thing that crawls on the earth, and every kind of bird. Pairs of all creatures, in which there was the breath of life, came to Noah into the ark. Those that entered were male and female. Of all the creatures they came, as God had commanded Noah. Then the Lord shut him in. The flood continued upon the earth for 40 days. As the waters increased, they lifted the ark so that it rose above the earth. The waters swelled and increased greatly on the earth, but the ark floated on the surface of the waters. Higher and higher on the earth the waters swelled, until at last all the high mountains under heaven were submerged. The waters swelled 15 cubits higher than the submerged mountains. All creatures that moved on earth perished, birds, tame animals, wild animals, and all that teemed the earth, as well as all humankind. Everything on dry land with the breath of life in its nostrils died. The Lord wiped out every being on earth, human beings and animals, the crawling things and the birds of the air. All were wiped out from the earth. Only Noah and those with him in the ark were left. And when the waters had swelled on the earth for 150 days, God remembered Noah and all the animals, wild and tame, that were with him in the ark. So God made a wind sweep over the earth, and the waters began to subside. The fountains of the abyss and the floodgates of the sky were closed, and the downpour from the sky was held back. Gradually the waters receded from the earth. At the end of 150 days, the waters had so diminished that in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. The waters continued to diminish until the 10th month, and on the first day of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains appeared. At the end of 40 days, Noah opened the hatch of the ark he had made, and he released a raven. It flew back and forth until the waters dried off from the earth. Then he released a dove to see if the waters had lessened on the earth. But the dove could find no place for a perch, and it returned to him in the ark, for there was water all over the earth. Putting out his hand, he caught the dove and drew it back to him inside the ark. He waited yet 7 days more, and again released the dove from the ark. In the evening the dove came back to him, and there in its bill was a plucked off olive leaf. So Noah knew that the waters had diminished on the earth. He waited yet another 7 days, and then released the dove, but this time it did not come back. In the 601st year, in the 1st month, on the 1st day of the month, the water began to dry up on the earth. Noah then removed the covering of the ark and saw that the surface of the ground had dried. In the 2nd month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth was dry. Then God said to Noah, "Go out of the ark together with your wife and your sons wives. Bring out with you every living thing that is with you, all creatures, be they birds or animals or crawling things that crawl on the earth, and let them abound on the earth, and be fertile and multiply on it. So Noah came out together with his sons and his wife and his sons' wives, and all the animals, all the birds, and all the crawling creatures that crawl on the earth went out of the ark by families. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and choosing from every clean animal and every clean bird, he offered burnt offerings on the altar. When the Lord smelled the sweet odor, the Lord said to himself, "Never again will I curse this ground because of human beings, since the desires of the human heart are evil from youth. Nor will I ever again strike down every living being as I have done. All the days of the earth, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease." God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, "Be fertile and multiply and fill the earth. Fear and dread of you shall come upon all the animals of the earth, and all the birds of the air, upon all the creatures that move about on the ground, and all the fishes of the sea. Into your power they are delivered. Any living creature that moves about shall be yours to eat. I give them all to you as I did the green plants. Only meat with its life blood still in it you shall not eat. Indeed, for your own lifeblood, I will demand an accounting. From every animal, I will demand it, and from every human being, each one for the blood of another, I will demand an accounting for human life. Anyone who sheds the blood of a human being, by a human being, shall that one's blood be shed. For in the image of God have human beings been made. Be fertile then and multiply, abound on the earth and subdue it. God said to Noah and his sons with him, "See, I now am establishing my covenant with you and your descendants after you, and with every living creature that was with you, the birds, the tame animals, and all the wild animals that were with you, all that came out of the ark. I will establish my covenant with you, that never again shall all creatures be destroyed by waters of a flood. There shall not be another flood to devastate the earth." God said, "This is the sign of the covenant that I am making between you and every living creature with you for all ages to come. I set my bow in the clouds to serve as a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. When I bring clouds over the earth and the bow appears in the clouds, I will remember my covenant between me and you and every living creature, every mortal being, so that the waters will never again become a flood to destroy every mortal being. When the bow appears in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature, every mortal being that is on the earth." God told Noah, "This is the sign of the covenant that I have established between me and every mortal being that is on the earth." The sons of Noah who came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham was the father of Canaan. These three were the sons of Noah, and from them the whole earth was populated. Noah, a man of the soil, was the first to plant a vineyard. He drank some of the wine, became drunk, and lay naked inside his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father's nakedness and told his two brothers outside. Shem and Japheth, however, took a robe and holding it on their shoulders, they walked backward and covered their father's nakedness. Since their faces were turned the other way, they did not see their father's nakedness. When Noah woke up from his wine and learned what his youngest son had done to him, he said, "Cursed be Canaan, the lowest of slaves, shall he be to his brothers." He also said, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem. Let Canaan be his slave. May God expand Japheth, and may he dwell among the tents of Shem, and let Canaan be his slave." Noah lived 350 years after the flood. The whole lifetime of Noah was 950 years. Then he died. The book of Matthew, chapter 22, verse 23 through chapter 23, verse 12. On that day, Sadducees approached him, saying that there is no resurrection. They put this question to him, saying, "Teacher, Moses said if a man dies without children, his brother shall marry his wife and raise up descendants for his brother. Now there were 7 brothers among us. The first married and died, having no descendants, left his wife to his brother. The same happened with the second and the third, through all 7. Finally, the woman died. Now at the resurrection of the 7, whose wife will she be? For they had all been married to her." Jesus said to them in reply, "You are misled, because you do not know the Scriptures or the power of God. At the resurrection, they neither marry or are given in marriage, but are like the angels in heaven. And concerning the resurrection of the dead, have you not read what was said to you by God? I am the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. He is not the God of the dead, but of the living. When the crowds heard this, they were astonished at his teaching. When the Pharisees heard that he had silenced the Sadducees, they gathered together. And one of them, a scholar of the law, tested him by asking, "Teacher, which commandment in the law is the greatest?" He said to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the greatest and the first commandment. The second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. The whole law and prophets depend upon these two commandments." While the Pharisees were gathered together, Jesus questioned them, saying, "What is your opinion about the Messiah? Whose son is he?" They replied, "David's." He said to them, "How then does David, inspired by the Spirit, call him Lord, saying, 'The Lord said to my Lord, sit at my right hand until I place your enemies under your feet'? If David calls him Lord, how can he be his son?" No one was able to answer him a word, nor from that day on did anyone dare ask him any more questions. That ends the reading for today. Never walk alone.